Hey guys, James here again. This is me. What if Luffy was Rimuru? Now, I remember watching that time I got reincarnated as slime, and this kind of gave me the idea for this. So this obviously Luffy's personality would change a bit because to fit Rimuru, and Luffy would be kind of like how Rimuru is. Rimuru isn't canon with a mixture of canonical Luffy. That would make Luffy somewhat of a pervert, but also somewhat intelligent, decently at least. So yeah, now the devil fruit Luffy eats is called the slime fruit, and it should be incarnate of Rimuru's power. Rimuru had died of old age somehow, let's say that, or including assuming slimes do age, they say Rimuru died of his own circumstances. No one could kill him. He wouldn't die of old age. He defeated himself. So, yeah, Rimuru dies that way, and his power incarnates inside of the One Piece world, giving the rise of the slime fruit. Luffy ends up eating that fruit, and when Luffy eats it, well, he's able to turn into a slime. This would be a zone devil fruit, or a Zoan. So he eats the zone devil fruit, and he's decently powerful. So, yeah, so when Higuma actually tries to take Luffy, first off, everything goes the same, so to say. When Higuma tries to take Luffy at sea by grabbing him, Luffy's able to somewhat turn into slime and keep evading everyone. He's able to catch on how to do it pretty fast. So he's able to avoid all of Higuma's crew. When Shanks arrives, he every single one of Higuma's groups. We go one of Higuma's bandits, including Higuma themselves, clutching their stomach. And then he looks around in the crowd, seeing Higuma's men trying to grab a slime, and that slime will then turn into Luffy, punching them in the stomach, then turning back into a slime. Next thing about laugh, he points this out to Beckman, and Yasop and Lucky Roo, and Bonk Punch, and they keep laughing, saying, Now you guys are being beaten up by a little 7-year-old? That's pitiful. Higuma says, The bastard is strong for a little kid. Luffy then appears from above Higuma, punching him back to the head full force, knocking him out. Luffy lands in front of Shanks, saying, See, I could have beaten them all myself. I didn't need your help. Because he's referring to the bar, because he could have beaten them up in the bar. And Shanks says, No, you couldn't have. You've got a small grip in a few days. Luffy would nod, saying, Fair enough. Luffy doesn't have the cut below his eye, so I'll say he doesn't have it. I forget the timeline Luffy had it. I don't know if he got it before he got the devil fruit or after. But I think it's after, so he doesn't have the scar below his eye. Actually, fuck it, the scar's iconic, he can keep it. I don't care. So, yeah, now Luffy does meet Garp, and Garp does realize Luffy can turn into a slime, and Luffy moves insanely fast for being, well, a slime. So, yeah. Let me pause real quick. So, Garp does know Luffy has a devil fruit, and it's a zone, because it turns him into a slime. Kind of like a zone paramecia, like a special... I wouldn't say special paramecia, because that's more like a Mochi Mochi no Mi thing. Because Kanaguri's body turns into Mochi, but it's very similar to Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Mi. So I put it like a special zone category. Luffy completely turns into an object, but he can also gain the abilities of a paramecia if he uses a hybrid transformation. So hybrid transformation basically gives Luffy all the abilities of a paramecia, like his Gomu Gomu no Mi, he gets all those same abilities, but he can mix in his basic climb techniques. And over time, Luffy begins tapping into Rimuru's magic tools, so to say. But any ability that would relate to Rimuru using magic and others can be transformed into devil fruits. So basically we can have so Luffy would be, let's say he can negate magic, or Rimuru can negate magic. With that, Luffy can actually turn that negating magic into negating devil fruit abilities. Kind of like how Teach does with the devil fruit. If one raid works in a quaking slash item, Luffy can basically negate it, and basically have little to no effect happen. So, yeah. So, now we basically just go on to just Luffy meets Ace. When he meets Ace still spits on Luffy, but Luffy's not as agitated about it. He says Ace acts like a little kid, and Ace seems pretty childish and probably an idiot. Is that Ace is annoyed, and the bandits do know Luffy isn't wrong, because they heard that and chuckle. Because, Ace isn't really too smart. Ace just scoffs at walking off, and mumbles, I'm an idiot, you're an idiot. But he just walks off, and Luffy just hangs out with the bandits. They get along pretty well. Luffy proceeds to basically learn new slime abilities. On the forest, Luffy encounters a giant spider. This spider happens to have the ability of making strings. And Luffy would point out the strings are basically as hard as steel, or as durable as steel. So Luffy would jump up, turning into a slime, and he ends up attacking it. He punches it over and over and over. The system would play in his head, saying usability, what was it? Usability predation to jump on and absorb enemy as a slime and get its abilities. Luffy would not absorb the slime turns into a slime and absorbs the spider completely, and he's being able to string web in his hybrid form. Now, in his hybrid form, his abilities are more potent. In his human form, he's not as strong. Still, it's decent. And then we basically just have Luffy's going out hunting animals. Point where he basically just hunts like an armor gun, which is basically the armor thing Rimuru can do that enhances his strength as well. So armor gun, the snake, whatever gave him the water ability. The snake, I'm pretty sure, gave him poison resistance. I forgot what the snake gave him. But Luffy will gather up a lot of the same abilities Rimuru does. Eventually, he would come across Ace and Sabo being basically beaten up by Pochemi. Eventually, Pochemi starts to slash down on Sabo, who's walking, basically protecting Ace. Suddenly, they hear a loud yell, and they see Luffy appear right in front of Pochemi, and Luffy's face is covered in a certain kind of armor. This is Pochemi is punched, being sent flying to the Great Terminal, and lands at Blue Jam's feet with a giant, divot in his chest. Now Pochemi is just coughing up blood, and Blue Jam's shocked at what hit him this hard. Now, Blue Jam's men all run to the location, and they see what did this. They see Luffy sitting on top of a giant ball of Pochemi's groups, and they see Luffy holding webs holding string from his fingertips. Luffy chuckles, saying, "Now, that was really it. Ace, you really got beat up by these guys?" Ace says, "What the hell?" But he sees all Blue Jam's men, and Luffy is really two-faced. Luffy just jumps down and repeatedly bounces into them, using slime and going human occasionally, and hitting them in their face. When he was done, he defeated the whole crew himself, and Luffy's just wearing a basic red shirt, shorts, sandals, and a straw hat. So this average-looking kid beat up a whole pirate crew himself. And with this, Blue Jam leaves the Great Terminal in shame. They were beaten up that easily with guns and knives being fired. What use would they have? So, yeah. Let me pause. Alright, so where was I? Yep, so Blue Jam's crew leaves Great Terminal in shame after being beaten up by a 7-year-old. And they leave in shame very, very reluctantly. Now, Luffy gets to know Ace and Sabo a little bit more. It's just kind of like a thank you for saving them. And as Luffy gets to know them a little more, the system does notify Luffy. Now, Luffy does not need to name people. It's custom to name people in, the human realm. So what Luffy can do is basically assign a moniker or title to them. And actually will increase their power drastically. But it will drain Luffy's in exchange. Luffy agrees to this, and was thinking of a way to name Ace and Sabo. So he was thinking, and, Sabo, as he gets to know him, Sabo to think of a whole comic he read, and Sabo to use a move on Pochemi, or at least attempted to, called Dragon Fist. Or Dragon Claw. So Luffy, when he kind of tells them about his Delphi and what thing he can do, basically just assign a title to them and they get stronger. They want to try it out. So with this, Ace asks for a title, and Luffy would say, "Sure, but if I give you titles, you have to be my underlings." But here they agree to this, and basically he have to call me Big Bro. They agree to this, and the title that Luffy would give Ace, with Ace being usually hot-headed, and actually being physically strong, extraordinarily physically strong, Ace is given the title as Fire Fist Ace. This is the title. Ace would feel his power increase, and a small flame flicker from his fingertip. Ace got an affinity for magic. So I'll be giving people tiny types of magic according to their normal abilities. So Ace would get fire, and then when Luffy would call Sabo, we call him Dragon Fist Sabo. And Sabo would acquire the ability to use the armor that Luffy can use as well. Luffy doesn't know how to use flame magic, but Ace is the first one to do so, and Ace would be training it, as he has a slight affinity for it, so it becomes easy to him. So yeah. So Ace gets his fire abilities when he's 10 years old. Sabo would get just insane amounts of armor. They've been training with this, and quickly they're able to clear out a lot of crime in the Great Terminal. They meet Nagari, and Nagini been training them. Now Luffy using basically his mind accelerate ability and his analyze and assess abilities, he's able to pick up on everything Nagini wants to teach them relatively quickly. And Luffy's able to get a quick amount of physical, like just basically blunt attack resistance, blade attack resistance, basically every kind of resistance you can imagine that isn't really poison or anything. Actually, he does like acquire all those kinds of like resistance when he does drink sake. That's kind of just poison resistance, electric shock of resistance, just random things give him resistance to everything. And eventually, Sabo does not get captured by his parents because both Blue Gems isn't there to help, and no one else is needed. So yeah. So Sabo's dad doesn't come looking for him. He doesn't know he's in the Great Terminal though. So yeah. I should pause one more time. Sorry. All right. So I'd probably say that Luffy would probably just, I guess, train with Nagari, analyze Haki, analyze everything, get resistance. Doesn't know how to use it yet, but does know what it is and the basics of how to learn it. But Luffy has no interest yet, seeming as he has other abilities to learn. Now, with Ace and Sabo 17, they're already decently strong. Ace is already as strong as he is, well, compared to canonical, Fire Fist Ace. And he's just 17. He had just turned 17. And I'm pretty sure right now it's 5:41 a.m. So 24 hours would be 5 a.m. on New Year's, but take away hours. And around 19 hours would be Ace's birthday. And around 18 hours and 19 minutes. So yeah. Now, you basically just have Goku. Not Goku, I mean. I keep thinking Goku. I've done so many Dragon Ball What Ifs recently. You have Luffy, who would watch as Ace leaves. Eventually, Sabo leaves, and Sabo does go for the Revolutionary Army. So Sabo and Ace are as strong as they are met canonically. It's just Sabo doesn't have Haki. He has that armor thing, and Ace eventually able to learn the armor thing from Sabo, and Sabo learns fire magic, and so does Luffy. He learns how to use fire magic as well. And it's the point where we can just snap, and a giant tornado of flames appears and erases everything from existence with just the sheer heat of it, because the flames are blue. But they eventually kind of turn red due to Luffy's accustomed favorite color. Now, we basically just go to just Luffy when he leaves. He literally just turns into a slime. Jumps in the air, turns into a slime, so he can it's his hybrid form to jump higher. It's more than he can in his normal form. And then turns into a slime, and half his body would shoot off, and goes into again, as he would just say water blade. And the Sea King gets cut in half. Luffy will land, and he continues to sail away, so he meets Alvida's crew. When he meets them, Luffy's kind of wearing what you see here, just minus... He's kind of wearing what you see here, minus all the jewelry. That's really it. Minus the jewelry and pirate flag. Or blanket, whatever, I don't care. But he meets Alvida's crew. He takes them all down pretty easily, just like them rushing at him. And Luffy, I'm going to give him some abilities of the canonical crew that Luffy would know, some canonical abilities of the crew or group that Rimuru would know, like Hakuro, Soe, pretty sure that's his name, Sosuke. He keeps jumping between Soe and Sosuke. I'm pretty sure Soe, Hakuro, Benimaru, Shion, and Rigard, Gabiru. Wants to do their abilities. He wouldn't be get their appearance, but no, he'd get Hakuro's sword proficiency. He already has that. But Soe and Benimaru's abilities will take time to learn. So yeah, so Luffy's already a pretty decent swordsman. He's usually training with his staff constantly and adapting swordsmanship. But yeah, now Luffy does eventually beat all of Alvida's crew, so he meets Kobe. And his grand sage is able to tell him that Kobe is not an enemy. Luffy takes Kobe to the nearest island, being Shelltown. They arrive on Shelltown, and they hear about the Marines. Luffy wants to free Zoro, so he does just that. And uh when Helmpo arrives, Luffy doesn't really care. He keeps untying Zoro, and he doesn't let Helmpo crush the rice balls. The rice balls are fed to Zoro, and Luffy lets Zoro eat. Helmpo actually demands the guards fire bullets at Luffy, but they're all bouncing off of him or being absorbed into his body. So eventually, Luffy just turns around and yell "Water Blade!" Say "Water Blade!" and the guns are cut in half. Immediately, he would walk inside after knocking out both the guards, and Helmpo just being scared shitless and doesn't realize he doesn't have a gun because Luffy stole it while he was walking by. This is one of the little techniques the bandits taught him to get along, because Luffy get along with the bandits pretty well, so they kind of learned some of their techniques to steal. It's like the very swift pickpocket technique. But eventually with this, Luffy would just walk into the base, quickly go past everyone, so fast they don't notice him. They think they saw something, but they don't know. But then losing all their stuff, and Luffy's able to take Zoro's swords. When he's on the battleground, when he's in the place again, then he sees Zoro headbutting Helmpo as Helmpo tries to strangle Zoro, but Zoro just headbutts the hell out of him, and he keeps trying to go near him, but Zoro keeps headbutting him or biting him. So, Helmpo's not able to go near Zoro without being bitten or headbutted, and eventually Kobe steps in the way. Remember how Zenitsu was protecting the box? That's kind of what Kobe's doing for Zoro. When Luffy walks back out, Helmpo had yelled for all the guards, saying, "Help! Help! There's an intruder attacking!" Morgan would sigh, saying, "Go down there and help." All the guards do, and Morgan would watch as Luffy just walks up, slashing down two of the guards pretty swiftly with Zoro's sword. And Zoro would notice Luffy's a swordsman. Or he thinks Luffy is. Luffy probably just knows how to use a sword because he's bored. That is it. But now immediately, all the Marines would point their guns at Luffy when he appears behind them all, closing the blade, and, kind of putting it in the sheath, and they're all slashed down and knocked unconscious. Morgan's instantly shocked by this because this happened in a split second. What Luffy really did is basically just dash through them, quickly swinging his arm around, and they're done. Now Morgan does rush down and begins trying to attack Luffy and Zoro and Kobe, but Luffy just turns into a slime using Water Slash, and Morgan's cut in half. Through the lancing, a little too powerful. But he frees Zoro gets his swords, and is instantly impressed by Luffy. Well, he's more impressed by the slime form that Luffy took, because Kobe didn't see Luffy do this. He saw Luffy just jumping around, kicking the hell out of Alvia's crew. That's it. But not this. Because it was impressive regardless. So now we basically just see Luffy who would free Zoro, and Zoro would want to learn from Luffy. Because Zoro can use onigiri, but what Luffy did in that split second without him seeing, no one taught at that. He wants to learn how to be that fast, that strong, to slash out this many Marines without killing any of them, but them being knocked unconscious in that split second. So such precision, strength, and speed all at once is something Zoro desired. Yes, you can acquire that over time, but he wants to learn it now. So he follows Luffy volunteering to make Zoro a student. And Luffy is just strong, confident, and kind, and Kobe does admire that. But these Marines seem to go at Morgan's beck and call. And Helmpo seems to be a piece of shit, so Kobe does go with Luffy. So as they leave, the villagers thank them, and when the Marines wake up, they see Morgan dead, and they basically just put his body away. They bury it, and they claim it to the Marines, like, "Oh yeah, Morgan got what he deserved," saying he's a big tyrant and harmed the villages. So, yeah. And they basically give the credit to random Marine not wanting to get Luffy in trouble. So, yeah. Now Luffy and Zoro keep sailing around. Luffy training Zoro how to fight a bit. And just teach Zoro the basics of Asian hockey, because Luffy doesn't know the basics, just refuses to learn hockey. Tells Zoro the basics of it, and Zoro's training using observation. He does think that Zoro needs that much precision, but would need observation. Well, Luffy is just quite literally built different without observation, so he's decent. His arm hockey is made up for a different ability. His conquerors, he has a menace ability of Ranga, the menace ability. So just basically exuding power. That's it. So basically, there's every bit of hockey he would need without having hockey. I don't know now. Probably just Luffy and Zoro going to Orangetown. They get there. When they get there, as Nami's about to have a muggy ball fired at her, because they don't arrive at the same time. So when Luffy basically just arrives and sees Nami having a muggy ball pointed at her, he kind of steps in the way by just basically appears at her somehow. And steps in the way, Buggy questions who Luffy is, but Buggy says it don't matter and fires a muggy ball. But as it hits Luffy, it basically just absorbs somehow. Luffy would just laugh, saying, "That was very underwhelming, wasn't it?" Zoro would nod, saying, "Yes, sir. Yes, it was." He says, Please stop being so formal." But Zoro just says, It's needed for a student to be very formal with his master. Luffy says that we're friends and Luffy says we're friends and student and master. Zoro would just say, "Alright then." Immediately, Kabaji would attack Zoro, seeing him as a swordsman, but Zoro just appears right behind Kabaji, slashing him, saying, "Damn it! It's not like yours." Luffy says, "You don't need to be like me." But Luffy and Zoro kind of argue for that split second. Zoro's aspiring to be like Luffy, but Luffy's arguing Zoro doesn't need to be like him. Yeah. Now, Nami is kind of shocked that Luffy absorbed a cannonball, and Zoro flashed down one of Buggy's top men really swiftly. Immediately, all Buggy's men are cut down by Zoro pretty swiftly, and he chuckles at how easy it was. Buggy's still alive, but Buggy's quickly hit in the chest by Luffy turning into a slime and dashing at him directly. And Buggy sent flying the same distance he was in cannon. Yeah, pause. So with all Buggy's crew cut down and Luffy not really doing his thing, not doing his thing, but Luffy not really doing a thing, he leaves Nami, and Nami asks Luffy why he helped. Luffy just says that they're bored and they followed a bird here that they're going to eat. So points out they lost the bird, and Luffy would just sign disappointment, saying, that bird was really fat. I wanted to eat it." He would sigh and walk away, as Zoro says, "This is a town, I'm pretty sure we can buy different food." Luffy looks at Buggy's crew, saying, "It's your fault." And immediately, Buggy's crew faced Luffy's wrath. Then he's done, they're all beaten to a pulp, and Luffy's just seething with rage. Moji and Richie were beaten up by Zoro already, but then Luffy just made it worse, him with Kabaji and the rest of the whole crew. Buggy should be grateful he's not there right now. But yeah. Now we just I guess have them sailing away. Luffy kind of tells Nami that she owes him, and Nami basically thinks that she can just bring Luffy to Arlong and kill Luffy. Now Luffy will actually talk to Zoro about his Delphi ability, and Nami overhears it, as he would say that if he gives someone a title or a rank for him, like a rank as a subordinate, they would get a very significant power boost. Zoro doesn't like this, but Luffy demands it. And Zoro being a student, well, Zoro's own personality is trying to no, I refuse this. But Luffy would say it can unlock techniques for Zoro as well, and Zoro hopes he can get a technique out of this. And Luffy does say this technique cannot be earned through sheer training; it will be earned through this ability. It'll give Zoro a whole new kind of power, kind of like a devil fruit, but without the cost of a devil fruit. But Zoro actually likes that as well. And Nami hearing she can get a devil fruit without any of the losses, or devil fruit ability without any of the losses, she's very glad. So yeah. Now with this, Zoro asks what his rank would be, and Zoro's rank is given second in command. He's usually told that Zoro's going to be given, given rank as vice captain. Now they realize that they want to be pirates, and their strength surely backs it up, but they're willing to rescue a random girl, which is different than what she knows. It's very, very confusing, but she admires their spirit. Zoro is made vice captain, and Zoro feels power grow. And Zoro's given the ability to basically just erase his presence. So Zoro's basically kind of given the title as Phantom. Luffy just calls Zoro the Phantom Swordsman. And when Zoro's given that title, his power boosts a decent amount more, giving him the ability of Zoro wants the precision, speed, and strength of Luffy. And that's really because Luffy's presence is little to none if he chooses to have it. So Zoro's first person being erased is basically given invisibility, kind of like Kuroko from Kuroko's Basket. No one knows he's there because no one cares about him. But people care about Zoro, but kind of gives him a temporary invisibility for a split second, and then people kind of forget he's there, and then they're all cut down by that time. So this does help Zoro with his speed aspect. Well, a lot of precision, but a little more speed as well. His strength is a whole other thing though. Nami would ask for a rank, and Luffy asks what she can bring to the crew. And Nami is actually somewhat loyal to Luffy now, because she can get more powerful than Arlong by this. So, when he decides what to think of a rank for her, the rank he decides on is going to be Navigator, when he hears her abilities. When she's given the rank of Navigator, Luffy just says, going to be Navigator Nami. And I will call you Queen of the Storms. Nami likes this thought, and with the title Queen of the Storms, her power is immediately, electricity. Or lightning, so to say. Not just regular electricity, lightning. Just pause real quick. So, Nami is able to gain lightning magic, and is able to do a quick burst of just a shock, and can paralyze enemies for up to 10 seconds. Well, Zoro would gain basically the menacing ability, which is it's kind of pending. Plus, giving him a menacing ability, because if you've watched that very awful anime spoiler and read the manga, we know Zoro's Conqueror's Haki. So menacing would go in tandem with the Conqueror's ability, or basically double the power of it. No matter who you are, having a menacing ability will double your power. Imagine what Luffy could do if he knew how to name people and gave Shanks a title. Fucking Shanks would be more broken than he needs to be. But this Zoro can actually rival, I'd say he can rival probably Punk Hazard Zoro immediately with the naming title. His power is more than tripled with Luffy's training and being given a name and being given magic. Nami, she's rivaling Luffy when he was on Skypiea. So, she's that powerful. And Nami feels her power, and she already knows she can take on Arlong just by estimating it. So, with this, Luffy just proceeds to just talk to Nami, and eventually with this, they would head to Syrup Village. When they get there, they end up meeting Usopp, and Luffy's actually getting decent at drawing this one, because he knows many things, drawing being some of it. He's actually able to draw decent Jolly Roger, but it's kind of just random and weird. It's like how the original Jolly Roger is kind of supposed to be, with Luffy's arms being like across the mouth, or behind the mouth, not really across bones and skull. It's going to meet Usopp and him get along pretty well. And, Zoro would tell Usopp their titles, and Usopp question what came up with that. Like, who came up with their titles. They seem kind of ridiculous, but Luffy tells Usopp there's Devil Fruit, gives him many kinds of powers, including magic. And when he bestows titles among people, when he bestows magic among people, when he bestows titles among people, they get magic, and their power doubles. Zoro's title, I forgot to give Zoro. Just the vice captain, Zoro. And so his title is the King of the Swordsman. He gives Zoro that title. So King of the Swordsman, Zoro, and then Queen of the Storms, Nami. Now Usopp's kind of shocked, and due to him wanting magic, he actually asks Luffy to name him. And Luffy doesn't know who Yasopp is, and so does tell Usopp how he knows Yasopp, and does tell Usopp that Yasopp asked Luffy to take Usopp on his crew if Luffy were ever to become a pirate. So just tell Usopp, if Usopp agrees to join his crew, then he will make Usopp will just give Usopp a title. Now Usopp agrees to this, and Luffy then says, Usopp is now known as Soge King Usopp, or King of the Snipers. Usopp greatly accepts his title, and immediately his precision is upped, and Usopp's magic ability, let's say, pretty sure Druid are the ones that can, or Dryad, Druid, they're able to use forest abilities, or like nature abilities, and Usopp can be able to, so it's just Dryad, they're able to use, I'd say, kind of nature abilities, so this kind of gives Usopp unintentional pop greens. And that's Usopp's ability. Luffy will say this, and Usopp actually finds the advantage of this really fast. He knows how to use pop greens, and this Usopp can rival, every version of Usopp we know, just minus observation haki. His precision actually ups to that, so he's better than his current self in in Kaido's place. Now Usopp feels his power as immediately his body gets a little more muscular, and he thanks Luffy for his power boost. Now eventually we go to basically just when they spy on Kuro and Django's conversation. Luffy doesn't fall down because he's actually able to hold up the cliff using a bit of his threads, and Usopp does this skill pretty cool. Until eventually they end up having to fight Kuro and his crew. Well, Kuro and his crew, Usopp's the one facing them down. Usopp says he refuses to let them set foot in his village, so the Miyabi brothers attack Usopp, but they're immediately grabbed by their head and slammed right into the ground. Usopp then charges at the rest of the crew, beating them up, until he gets to Kuro. Usopp's body is covered in a bit of scars, not scars, but a bit of scratches and bruises, but he's still not running out of breath, not sweating. He's just standing there facing Kuro. Kuro begins using his shambles or shave ability, and so Usopp's able to get a few blocks in. Eventually he's able to grab Kuro by the neck, but only when he uses his pop greens by firing off a lead ball at Kuro. Then this lead ball, well, when it's Kuro, it basically just poofed into dust. It decayed rapidly through the air with Usopp using this ability, just to fast forward it through nature. Decayed, poofed in dust, hitting Kuro, or is it Kuro poofed into dust? And Kuro inhaled some of the fumes, also got in his eye, and when it poofed in, some of the dust had hit the stone wall, or basically some of the cliff on Kuro, and immediately Vines shot from the cliff, grabbing Kuro, and Usopp just punched Kuro in the face, so he was unconscious, and Kuro had apologized for threatening the village. Kaya would watch as Usopp does this, and she's glad that Usopp took on all these pirates just for the sake of the village. But, well, if these guys are stronger than Usopp, she wants to know what they could have done. If they're this strong if they're stronger than Usopp, and Usopp is this strong, she's kind of wondering what they could do. With this, Kuro's eventually beaten unconscious, and Usopp realizes he never would apologize. He throws them all on their boat and kicks out to sea, and begins using a bit of his magic to push the boat out insanely far. But Usopp wrote a note on the boat saying, "If you come back to the village, I'll kill you all." And he kind of wrote this right to Jolly Roger. Now, Luffy did tell Usopp the condition of getting a name as being Luffy's subordinate, and, well, now Usopp has to live with, he's a subordinate, not a leader. Which he's actually very happy to know that he's this strong despite being a subordinate. So now Luffy would basically get on the boat with his crew following him, Kaya saying goodbye, and Usopp actually being able to use nature to heal her, but also kind of bestowing a spell that took up a lot of his energy. But the spell basically would guard the island until Usopp would die, so to say. Till he dies, this spell is no longer being used. It's not like a constant energy draining spell unless the island would be in peril, and Usopp has to use a lot of his magic power to fight for the island, or have the island fight for the village. But there's no need for that. Also, Luffy would not really lose any energy naming people. He lose energy naming people like Mihawk or Shanks. Like, he didn't name people or lose energy naming people like warlords, so to say. And this crew isn't really too strong currently. Yes, they're decently powerful. It's just not strong enough for him to lose energy naming them. So no need. Now, eventually, with this, Sniper King Usopp, King of Swordsman Zoro, and Queen of the Storms Nami. Now, eventually, they begin mastering their abilities, and he teaches them all the armor ability. And Nami is teaching them her lightning magic. Zoro unlocks a new magic in the form of slashing magic, where he basically can basically just Luffy's water slash. But Zoro now should be able to do it with air, but it's not air magic. He can just literally just slash the air, and then his sword slash is just taken away. And basically he can slash someone, but using slash magic, slash doesn't hit immediately. He jumps away when suddenly the slash would shoot off his sword, hitting his opponent. The slash kind of does that, this slash would leave the sword attacking the opponent. Kind of like a living attack, so to say. But Zoro gets the armor. He would then also basically get the presence that's not there, plus a menacing. Then with help of Nami, is able to unlock lightning magic. With help of Luffy, unlock fire magic. Nami unlocks fire magic, gets better at lightning magic. And then we have Usopp, who actually wants to learn the way to erase his presence. And Zoro will teach Usopp how to do that. Usopp also learns his lightning and fire magic, with Luffy learning lightning magic. That's really it. All the magic that his crew can do, the only one he didn't know how to do was lightning. That's it. So now Luffy's basically trying to learn how to do magic of every single element. Only one he's missing being wind and earth. He can do water magic briefly. He's pretty decent at fire magic. Then at least earth magic counts as nature magic. He's kind of lacking in earth magic. Well, he can do kind of magic of every nature now. So, well, no, wind is always missing. So, wind. So now, I guess we go to like the Bratier. When they get there, everyone feels the power of the Strives there. They seem very powerful. They feel it. Just the pressure coming off them is immense. And they order their food. They get the food. And Luffy and Sanji talk. Now Sanji talked to Nami and tried to flirt her up, but she's not interested in anyone. And Jay says out loud she's more interested in Luffy. And Luffy does turn into a slime, and Nami deems it cute and holds Luffy. When Sanji would hear that she's more interested in a slime, he thinks she's a little weird, till Luffy turns into a human. And Nami chuckles, saying she's interested in that, not Sanji. And Sanji just realizes Luffy's kind of a pervert like him, and does actually ask Nami why. And Nami just says, "Can I say it out loud?" He says, "I don't care, be open with it." He says that Luffy's extremely powerful, and with his devil fruit, he can make them more powerful. He says that her name is Queen of the Storms, and shows off her lightning magic. Zoro will show off he's the king of the swordsmen, and show off his slashing magic, and Usopp would say he's the king of the snipers, showing off his immense precision and nature magic. And Sanji's like, "So he gave you those titles, and you're this powerful now." They all nod, and Zeph would actually approach Luffy when Sanji's not looking, because Sanji didn't really care at first. He just thought their names were stupid. Well, not Nami's, of course, she's a lady. Zeph approaches Luffy later, asking him to take Sanji on his crew and give him the title. Now, Luffy would ask Zeph why, and Zeph would say Sanji's dream, and say he can't find it by staying on the Bratier. Luffy does actually offer to give Sanji a title and bring him on the crew. First, he actually tells Sanji that he's not offering him a title, but in addition that Sanji is now Luffy's underling. Sanji immediately says no, but the cooks encourage Sanji, saying the All Blue is out there, not on the Bratier. But then suddenly, Gin will stumble in, and when Gin stumbles in, he begins, asking for food. It kind of goes normally, but until Don Krieg's crew attacks. But Luffy then tells Zeph he has a plan to get Sanji onto his crew. Zeph hears the plan and say, "Alright, kind of dangerous, but make sure the Bratier is not harmed, and make sure Sanji doesn't die." Luffy agrees to this, and when Don Krieg's crew starts attacking, there's always no one stepping in to help him. Questions why this is, but Pearl and Gin begin beating Sanji's ass. Even Don Krieg joins in. Sanji begins begging for help, when Luffy would say, "Sorry, but I only help my subordinates, and I don't see you as one." Sanji, having to get one of the stupid titles, would say, "Fine, give me a title, damn it, I need help." Luffy is thinking, saying, The cook of blazing passion, Sanji. Now this fits Sanji perfectly, as Sanji then suddenly spins around using fire magic, and a sheer kick with a shockwave sends out a giant burst of flames, destroying Don Krieg's ship completely, and burning a lot of his crew up. Sanji's body is completely healed, and he realizes the immense power this title holds. His power now rivals Zoro. Zoro chuckle, looks at Sanji, saying, so you're just as strong as me now. Sanji would nod, saying, "It seems so." Sanji is actually able to use his bare hand to spark a cigarette, not needing to use a lighter now, which he thanks Luffy for. It's very convenient. Sanji is actually impressed with this power, and actually does think to himself, "Why didn't I become a subordinate earlier? This could have been useful." Now with this, Miyako does arrive and sees the damage Sanji caused, but then feels someone as strong as Sanji, being Zoro, and someone stronger, being Luffy. First wants to fight Zoro, seeing what does he have? And when Miyako fights Zoro, even his observation haki can't keep up with Zoro's erasing presence technique. And his sheer speed is very impressive, and Miyako's getting cut a few times even, because Miyako's observation haki cannot do a thing to him. So Zoro's just disappearing, slashing him, appearing again, and to actually do it all a fight. Eventually Miyako does beat Zoro with just a very swift slash across the chest. And, yeah. But, we basically just go on to Miyako wanting to fight Luffy, and Luffy uses every single technique that the Straws have, and Miyako has a complete disadvantage. But Miyako eventually would slash so hard that the ship would have to be cut in half, when Luffy has to guard every single thing, which does involve him using a lot of magic to make sure the Brassier and the Mary aren't damaged. When they're hit by this, well, when Luffy's hit by this mainly, he falls to the ground, coughing a bit, saying it used up a lot of his energy, and Luffy then passes out. Basically used every bit of magic he had to block this slash, because it had hockey in it. Luffy had to use every ounce of magic to negate this attack, including every form of magic, every form of defense he had. He hits the ground unconscious, and Miyako would deem Luffy a very admirable man, and deem Zoro one of the top 10 strongest swordsmen he's ever met, which Zoro takes great pride in. Now with this, Miyako would leave, and be amazed at how much scars he got in just a few minutes with Zoro. It's also not the same scar across his chest, it was just, well, healed by Luffy. But Zoro didn't want it to be completely gone, he wanted it to be a living scar. Not living, but a scar just to make sure he remembered the promise to never lose again. So yeah. Pause real quick. Alright, so with this, his routes eventually leave, and Nami mentioning Arlong Park. Luffy would say that no one's going to help her, and Sanji's agreeing against this, but Luffy would say that Nami's fighting fish in an area surrounded by water, and she's really good at lightning magic. Once she instantly puts together, saying, oh yeah, she can handle it herself. Nami would chuckle, she arrives in the village, and the village sees how strong Nami is, but the pressure of her crew, they know they're stronger than Arlong. The power of Nami alone suppresses the fear that they feel in Arlong's crew. They fear Nami more than the whole crew. They'll just watch as Nami would form into Arlong Park, and Arlong will question what Nami is doing, like the gall of her breaking his gate. She's a lightning bolt at him, and immediately kills him. She knows she's the queen of the storms, Nami, and she'll not let her village be bullied by the likes of Arlong and his men. The whole crew attacks Nami, and Nami in seconds takes down the whole crew. Hachi escapes narrowly, because he's just kind of fried, but, yeah. So she escapes. Not she. Hachi escapes, and, yeah. We would have, let's say, I don't know. We'd probably just go to, like, just Nami leaving, and the village thanking them. The fishermen retreat easily because, well, they don't want to be shocked to death. But now we just go to, like, just them leaving, and the next stop would probably just be First Mountain. So they had to Logtown. When they're there, they end up encountering Smoker and his men, but Luffy pays no mind to Smoker. Buggy met Alvida, and Alvida still gets her devil fruit, and there's no one really pays no mind to her. Luffy never paid any mind to anyone on this. Doesn't pay any mind to anyone. He explores the whole death thing, like the whole thing where Roger died. Luffy doesn't really have an interest in being Pirate King. This is the strongest person in history. That's his whole goal. The strongest person in history. So, yeah, wants to be stronger than Pirate King, stronger than Whitebeard, everyone. So, that's just a comment on Luffy. But he sees Roger as a stepping stone, not as a goal. He chuckles, saying, I'll surpass you one day. He walks away going to the bar, and he takes a drink with the bartender, Raoul, thinking Luffy is someone who seems greater than Roger in some way. Doesn't know how, but it feels like it. Now Luffy's going to walk away when Buggy and his whole crew stop Luffy. Now, in an instant, Buggy and his whole crew are defeated, and Buggy will question Luffy, saying, how do you pay no mind to us and beat us like it's nothing, huh? You absorbed a Muggy Ball, you beat a whole crew, you beat an additional crew alongside me. Now, if you guys want to know about Kobe, by the way, because I did realize that Kobe's on the crew, Kobe don't get a title yet. He's training. He can't be given a title willy-nilly and not be strong. Nami's decently powerful, Kobe's still completely weak as hell. Till he gets decently strong, he will not be given a title at all. So, yeah. But Luffy would actually just appreciate Buggy's drive to beat Luffy, and Luffy then says he's willing to make Buggy stronger, so Buggy can feel like he's somewhat worth something. Buggy questioned this, as Luffy would say, basically the power of a second devil fruit without eating a second devil fruit. Buggy wishes Luffy can grant this power, and doesn't believe it, until Luffy says he can grant titles, and when he grants titles, that it gives Buggy a different kind of power. And basically calls Buggy the Jester. Now, they don't really change Buggy's moniker, because Buggy appreciated Buggy the Clown, but Buggy the Jester, that's what he's called. Or Killer Clown Buggy, that's what it is. The Killer Clown Buggy's power then increases, and Buggy gains the slashing magic like Zoro. Now Buggy deems power instantly deems as he's strong now, tries to attack Luffy. Luffy negates all the attacks. And Luffy then tells Buggy the cost of the power is being Luffy's subordinate. Buggy's eyes widen, saying, "Wait, what? No. Doesn't mean I have to be your subordinate forever. Because, until I die, which is going to be a relatively long time, my zone kind of grants me extended lifetime, which would grant my crew extended lifetime, so to say. So you're going to be living a long time, so am I." Buggy would sigh, saying, "Fine, you have to join your crew, because you'd be like a grand fleet. You don't need to be with me." But he says, "Oh, thank God." Luffy will say, "Well, if I summon you, you're going to come with me." Buggy would nod, saying, "Yes, sir." Alvito asks if she can get a title, but Luffy says no, he hates her. And, well, Kobe hates her. He refuses to like Alvito because Kobe doesn't like her. So, yeah. So eventually Strides plus Kobe leave. And before they leave, Bartholomew would admire Luffy. He watched Luffy give Buggy a title and how strong Buggy had gotten. Now before Luffy leaves, Bartholomew would actually bow before Luffy, saying he honors Luffy like a god. But something the Marines would surround Luffy, and the Marines were all defeated as quickly as they surrounded Luffy. But Luffy would ask Bartholomew why. Bartholomew says he saw what Luffy did, and Luffy then asked Bartholomew if he would want a title. He feels the power Bartholomew has, and Bartholomew shows off his barrier ability. Now with this, Luffy actually wants Bartholomew on his crew, and Luffy would end up offering Bartholomew a place on the crew. Bartholomew would agree, and Luffy would grant Bartholomew the title as the guardian deity, Bartholomew. Or the guardian deity, Bartolomeo. Or Bartolomeo. He's given the title and is greatly excited by this, saying, Thank you, sir, thank you. And Bartholomew is now given the ability of basically, I guess, shield magic and everything. Yeah. Let me pause real quick. So, Bartholomew had basically joined the ranks of the crew as the guardian deity Bartholomew. Guardian deity inferring that he has the barrier no me, but also the power of now barrier magic. And Bartholomew would have to learn the magics of the whole crew. And Luffy would actually deem Smoker a good opponent, and just tell Smoker that he sees a rival in Smoker. So, now giving you a third name of the day, and Smoker actually being incredibly powerful himself, the name Smoker is given, is basically, Look, I should pause again. I need to find some way to give Smoker a name. I think a fitting thing for Smoker would be Enenra, which is basically a demon or yokai of smoke. So, Smoker's given the title Enenra by Luffy. Now, Luffy named two incredibly powerful people individually, and that drained a little bit of his magic, not a lot, but a little bit of it. Smoker is given the name, and immediately he feels more powerful. Guess what Luffy did to him? Luffy says he gave Smoker basically the power of another devil fruit without a devil fruit. Smoker would actually be shocked that a pirate helped him like this. Luffy says he only helped Smoker because he sees a rival in him. Smoker for some feels the need to bow. But then Luffy looks at Tashigi looking at Zoro, and Luffy asks Zoro if he sees a rival in Tashigi. Zoro saying no, he sees more of a person who can teach in battle. Like a student, but only when they fight. Luffy just bestows a little bit of power among Tashigi, basically giving her the knowledge of slashing magic. She's shocked, and these actually bow to Luffy, thanking him, but questioning his motives, and he says, a rival and a student for my crew. That's it. They leave, and, yeah. Now with this, we basically just go on to, We go on to just, the Reverse Mountain thing. On Reverse Mountain, they meet. When the Boon's in the way, Luffy's actually able to use Voice of All Things to heal the Boon, and use the waves of using water magic to push the Boon back a bit. Now, when they land at bottom of Reverse Mountain, Luffy and the Boon are able to communicate. Luffy, using a bit of nature magic, is actually able to unlock a new skill, which is Beast Communication. This is a skill Luffy unlocked with a mixture of Voice of All Things and nature magic, or / earth magic. Kind of like a subcategory of nature magic being basically just earth magic. Which, considering what nature is, a subcategory of earth magic is going to be nature magic, and a branch magic of nature magic is going to be the beasts. So, Beast Communication is a skill Luffy had unlocked, and is able to communicate with Laboon. Luffy can do it perfectly because his new skill he had just learned, but him and Laboon are able to somewhat share equal words, and with this, Luffy and Laboon talk for a bit, and Luffy promises to actually find out what happened to the crew and tell Laboon what happened. Laboon thanks Luffy, Crocus brings out and talks to them, Crocus gives them a log post, tells them how to use it, and they leave. Crocus is shocked to see that a crew this powerful was in the Grand Line. Not the Grand Line, but in the East Blue at that. The Strides leave, so getting Vivi and Mr. 9 they head to Whiskey Peak. It kind of goes the same way, so say it just ends a lot faster. When they encounter Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine, though, well, Zoro cuts down Mr. 5 in one swift attack. Zoro and Luffy never fought. It's just the fact that Luffy didn't really care about the villagers and didn't get drunk or pass out or anything. Luffy just ate a lot, and that's it. But in his slime form, so he didn't really get any effects of eating or drinking. So it didn't really matter for him. So, yeah. And Luffy had a lot of cleavage against him in his slime form, which Sanji was jealous of. But still, the girls found slime form cute. And now we basically just have the Strats who end up, not Strats, just Zoro fighting Mr. 5 and cutting him down in one swift movement. And Nami just uses Miss Valentine's umbrella as a lightning rod. And basically just shoots a bit of, like a small little lightning at it. Sometimes question needed that, saying it's weak. Suddenly, clouds begin brewing, and she can't drop the lightning rod now. She has to drop it by the man with chuckle, and make a room of barriers around her. She's sounding confused when suddenly lightning strike, surrounding the whole barrier, and electrocutes her, making her pass out and be knocked unconscious. Nami's lightning currently is rivaling Enel. Luffy starts passing Enel. Luffy laughs, saying, "Good job, you two. Very good teamwork." Nami and Bar by the way, a fist bump. And now we take a look at Kobe's power. Kobe had fought off a ton of random mercenaries, as he was old enough to drink and didn't want to participate either way, so he didn't drink whatsoever. So with this, we kind of just had Kobe, who was just awake and fighting, and we did see Kobe's growth and decided to give him a name. As Luffy was thinking, he notices Kobe's muscle growth and realized how he fought with just sheer brute force and his sheer body. Luffy thought of Hercules, and he basically called Kobe the Herculean soldier, Kobe. That was his name, and Kobe accepted this title. So, yeah. So, Kobe the Herculean soldier. Now, with this, Kobe would get more powerful, and he's on the same power he is when we go to post-time skip One Piece. Kobe's rivaling the power he is, as he's currently about to fight Hancock. Kobe would thank Luffy for his power, even being crying and bowing, and Dustin Zoro would say, "So uncool, don't bow like that." Luffy says, "No, let him do his thing." Kobe would stand up, bowing to Luffy one more time, before they leave. Now with this, we head to just them at not Drum Island. We head to them at Little Garden. We get there, they meet Dory and Broggy. And Dory and Broggy, well, they've been having their battle for a bit. The whole thing is around Sanji. Zoro always focused on training. Sanji catches the two animals themselves, and is actually able to not heal them, I mean, he's able to cook them pretty perfectly, and it's just Zoro to make the cuts to, like, so Zoro basically dices them up perfectly for Sanji, and Zoro's kind of like Sanji's sous chef. So, yeah. Now, Luffy does tell the story in Brocky's weapons are now like wear and tear, and promises to actually fix weapons if they have one more battle going all out with them being boosted by Luffy's power. They're hesitant, but Luffy says, "Don't worry, he can try to like remove some of the power, or at least half of it if one of them wins, or remove some of the power of the loser, whatever they prefer." But Broggy actually wants to test out the power first, and then they'll decide if they want it removed or not. Luffy will name them both. Well, officially, what are some infamous giants in history? Think about this. So, he would give Dory and Broggy the titles of Lepetus and Atlas. Their power increases, their weapons get better, and they're basically put in the peak of their power. Then their weapons are put in the peak of their power as well. When Broggy does have their power, liking it, as they basically get strength and endurance magic. Their body gets increased like that. Now this Dory and Broggy fight, and the winner is going to be Broggy. He got the title of Atlas, which made him the stronger one by accident. If you didn't know this, Dory and Broggy didn't either, but they got the Dory's the weaker one, Broggy the strongest. And with this, well, they actually all liked the power and volunteered to actually join the crew, but Luffy says no, just head back to Elbaf. They agreed and left, and Luffy actually passes out. They were individually strong and really strong. Luffy passed out due to just them being so powerful and having to have a lot of magic no matter who they were. So he just passed out, and yeah. So that's how give Luffy back normal health. Until eventually, when Luffy wakes up, he would see wax everywhere and see a bit of paint on Zoro's clothing. And see Sanji with a few slight cuts, but Luffy says what happens. They say nothing happened. In reality, Luffy fought Mr. 3, Miss Golden Week. So Golden Week Miss Golden Week sneakily used paint on Zoro. And then Zoro fought Sanji. First fought the crew, then Sanji began fighting him. And Kobe using his spirit strength to Zoro, shockingly, as Herculean title gave him immense strength, passing Zoro, not Luffy, but Zoro, who was actually able to hold him in place while Sanji kicked him straight. Or kicked him unconscious, and they realized the paint was there. Kobe recognized the symbol and said what it did. And they found Miss Golden Week and Mr. 3, and they beat them. They retreated, but they couldn't catch them, though. So Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week left, but shocked that Zoro was taking down that fast, because they thought he was the strongest one. Well, in overall abilities, he's the strongest one, but he lacks in some areas. Alright. So, now we basically just have, probably just going up. So, this ends the Drum Island arc, not Drum Island, it ends Whiskey Peak. Well, Whiskey Peak already ended, this ends Little Garden, they had Drum Island, and they do encounter Wapol, but Wapol just was like swiftly pimped out by Luffy, and he was knocked unconscious. Luffy would end up throwing Wapol back on the ship, and they leave. They went with they went with guns. Vivi is able to calm them all down, so is Kobe. And those two being the ones of reason, they're able to go back up, and they do look for doctors, because Nami was still bitten by whatever she was bitten by. I'd say probably a tick or something. But with this, they begin looking for a doctor, and they eventually are able to basically find Dr. and Chopper still. But Luffy isn't really too tired. He beat the animals pretty easily by being able to talk to them, then brought Nami up the mountain pretty easy by himself. The tick, yes, it did some damage, but I'd say Luffy needed to find a doctor, because the tick did some damage. Luffy couldn't heal. That was an internal injury, or external injury, I mean. It was more like just a disease flowing through her. And he didn't really know how to use healing magic too well currently, so that didn't really help his case at all. He's able to do it briefly, like he did for Zoro, but even if Zoro hadn't asked Luffy to only leave it a scar, Luffy could have only left it as a scar. So, healing magic isn't really his thing currently. So, yeah. So with this, we'd have Nami being healed by Dr. Rain, and he hears Chopper's whole backstory from Dr. Rain. And with this, Luffy actually offers to put, like, a name for Chopper, like a title for him. Now, Dr. Rain's confused when Luffy explains what he does for his crew and what his Delphi does. Dr. Rain's confused why Luffy would actually ask that for Chopper or offer it to Chopper. And Luffy explained that, well, he wants Chopper on his crew, but Chopper could also just be very valuable for Drum Island if he says no. But Dr. Rain would kind of chuckle at what Luffy's trying to do and say, regardless, if you try to make the wish, he's your subordinate regardless. Luffy nods saying, yeah, but I don't have to have him come with me. Chopper listening, and what Luffy's trying to do for him, for Chopper and Drum Island, well, J3 thinks Luffy's being very kind, and accepts Luffy's title as name and wants to from his crew. Dr. Rain asked Chopper if he's sure. Chopper would say he's sure. So now, Chopper would get his name. So, Chopper's name is the Cure-All Doctor, Tony Chopper. Chopper smells the title, and Chopper's, well, his ability is more or less healing, like his healing magic. And Luffy's now able to bestow some of his memories of training on a Chopper, just so Chopper's actually able to learn the other forms of magic. Chopper would thank Luffy, and it's one of the new techniques Luffy learned was sharing memories, so it was pretty fun, I guess. So, yeah. Now, eventually, when they end up leaving Drum Island, or when they're about to leave, well, Wapol appears, and Wapol wants to intervention in Straw Hats. But Wapol's guards turn against him. Luffy was told the title upon Dalton, which is basically like the Ox King Dalton. So, a lot of Wapol's guards aren't with him anymore. They're not pointing guns at the Straw Hats, they're pointing guns at Wapol. And Dalton actually asks Luffy to lay open fire. And Luffy says, the ones that won't hit our ship, go ahead. Or the ones that won't go near our ship, go ahead. So, around half of them that are actually on the sides begin firing and annihilate Wapol, Chess, and Kuromarimo. So, yeah. But with this, we basically just have the Straw Hats leaving with Chopper on their crew, and Dalton thanking Luffy for his title. Dalton's magic, let's say it's endurance and durability magic. It's just a lot of physical enhancement magic. And Chopper actually gained the ability to use every single one of his points with transformation magic without having to use Rumble Balls. Chopper began working on the Rumble Ball thing just for the Straw Hats, because he doesn't need them anymore. So, yeah. Now, with this, we would also have just probably, what was it? I guess the next one probably being Alabasta. On their way there, they meet Robin, and Robin is actually aware of how strong they are. Mr. 3 and Miss Golden told them how strong they were, and then we had Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine being killed, so she was swiftly, let me pause real quick. Alright, so Robin hunches the crew, knows how strong they are, and actually does think they can be Crocodile. Well, Luffy just questioned, like, why is his crew so strong? She hasn't seen him do a thing. Luffy would say that if he wanted to, if he did fight, he'd clear the way for every single Straw Hat, regardless. And says he's more or less basically their sensei and their way of confidence. When she hears this, she wants to know if Luffy is actually strong, and actually asks for him to fight his crew. Zoro dashed at Luffy quickly, she wanting to show this woman how strong Luffy is. Now Zoro's using his full power, Robin can tell, but quickly, Zoro's trapped inside the neck of Luffy and knocked out. He appeared right next to him, hitting the neck, and he's knocked out. Robin is shocked at his sheer speed, then Sanji would use his full power of flame magic, trying to kick at Luffy, but is simply thrown to the side and into the ocean. Then Sanji is wrapped up in a whirlpool and thrown in the air, and lands right on the boat, being knocked unconscious by the force. Nami begins trying to summon a storm on Luffy, but turns against her, shooting her with a lightning bolt, and it knocks her out. So he can't overwhelm Luffy physically, and Luffy just breaks his arm and throws him into the ocean, and Bartholomeo's barriers are met by Luffy's immense magic combinations and destroyed, and he's knocked out. All the crews defeated by Luffy in the span of 10 minutes. Robin is shocked and realizes that Luffy is simply just too strong. He even thinks that Luffy could take on all of the warlords and says out loud, "Well, you may be able to defeat all the warlords." Luffy even says, because he was tired, he lost to Mihawk. But he can tell that Mihawk was kind of on the back foot, or on the edge. Robin shocked by this that Luffy was even pushing Mihawk, and says that Mihawk gained a few new scars from Zoro even. This even impresses her more because Zoro left scars on Mihawk, and Luffy beat Zoro like it was nothing. But Luffy actually asks Robin if she would join his side instead of Crocodile's, and she accepts. So she just tells Luffy that she'll feed him info, and Luffy then actually says, "Then I'll have to give you a name." What should I name you? And thinking, and says, I'm just thinking about this actually. I'm just finding a name for Robin, like thinking of like the ancient scholar Nico Robin, or With Robin's Delphoot being related to plants, and Ohara being known for having that giant ass tree in the knowledge. Let me find the name of the tree real quick. Robin will be known as the last branch of ancient knowledge. So Robin is known as woman of the last branch of knowledge, and her power would increase by a lot. Used on the level that she is, let's say, probably in, like, early Wano. Her power increases to that, and she's very grateful to Luffy. Luffy smiled, bowing, saying no problem. And Robin is feeding Luffy all the information she knows, and digging even more using her new power. And her magic will be nature magic. So she gets accustomed to this, and Luffy actually is able to transport some of his memories of training nature magic to her. So yeah, she trains nature magic pretty quickly, and is able to restore a lot of life to Ohara. When they're on Ohara, Luffy would explore the villages that are trapped in water with Vivi's help, and they're actually able to bring water back to it with the help of Luffy. But the rest of the strats basically just hunt down millions and billions and everyone else in the Brokeworks organization. So yeah, Vivi and Luffy just basically hunt down all the every single village without any without any water. This basically lots of stuff is restored to restored to Alabasta, and Alabasta's thanking Luffy and Vivi profusely. Eventually, Robin does free Cobra and say that she's basically a spy for a stronger pirate crew and wants to free Alabasta. Cobra's shocked that pirate crew wants to do this, but thanks them, and she reveals that Crocodile's a government worker as well, basically a warlord. Now, this makes Cobra question his relationship with the government, but thanks Robin regardless, and she feeds him a lot. But she does say that she'll give him food in exchange to read the Poneglyph. Cobra agrees to this reluctantly, tells her how to get in, she reads Poneglyph, and when she leaves, Crocodile does demand what she was doing down there. And she says she was trying to find the Poneglyph, and all it was a giant library of books, no Poneglyph. Crocodile doesn't believe her and goes down there, or tries to. He's put in the clutch position, but he tries to escape, and Robin's power seems too vast. This shocks him. She was always this strong. And Robin says, "You're just in the last branch of knowledge of Ohara. What do you think you can do against me?" Crocodile tries to attack her using a giant wave of sand. Suddenly, the wave of sand is extinct, but blown apart by someone. Or a few people. These people being Zoro and Sanji. Sanji basically used a giant blazing kick, and Zoro was able to cut off Crocodile's other arm with quick speed. When Crocodile's Delphoot couldn't keep up with him. Not his other arm, but his whole arm. One that had a hook, the hand that had a hook is now, there's an arm being cut off. So yeah, now with Crocodile's arm missing, he yells in pain, and looks at Luffy. Looks at Zoro saying, "Who the hell are you?" He ends freaking out, and Zoro would say, "We're another pirate subordinates, but you kind of pissed off our captain, so we're here to beat you up." Immediately, Sanji was in the air, kicking Crocodile right in the gut, but Crocodile was able to turn into sand and try to drain Sanji of his he's the one that tries to what was it? He has to drain all Sanji's liquid. When he tries to do that, Not only actually able to avoid Crocodile, and was one being able to cut Crocodile swiftly and a little bit, being faster than his Devil Fruit. Was one reflexes actually. But Crocodile with these few cuts eventually does get the option to retreat or be beaten. But Sleece and Robin sneaking off, and he does able to grab Seastone cuffs and throw them to Zoro. Zoro catches them, and that's what they do. She has Seastone cuffs put on Crocodile. Crocodile tries to escape immediately, but suddenly he just realizes there's cuffs on his wrist, and he's not able to move it any faster. So, yeah. Crocodile's eventually detained in prison, and his arm is treated. So, I guess this would be it. Yeah, pause real quick. Alright, so Crocodile's detained, everyone just rests for a bit. So and Sanji train together, and Robin gets all the knowledge of how Luffy and the Frights trained with magic. Well, we have Kobe, Brother the Mayo, and Robin who train together to learn the magics, of course, and Chopper. And Robin, due to her actually being able to share knowledge now with the help of Luffy, she's able to share knowledge to Luffy on how to read poneglyphs, because she does think that Luffy should be able to do it. And then she shares the knowledge of Oharu's medicine to Chopper, because medicine is basically lost to history. Whenever Chopper gets the medicine, he's very thankful for Robin, and she would smile, saying there's no biggie. And now they leave, and Robin doesn't really fear the government anymore. She's most impressed with Luffy. But as after leaving, well, for one, Luffy did not meet Ace. He did not go into Alabasta, and Ace felt his older brother's, his big bro's, power was there, and thought it wise rather not see him as such a disgraceful point. This time, Ace had grown in power significantly. Yes, he did. He's actually being able to use all forms of haki, and Webber deems Ace the strongest on his crew even surpassing Marco. Because basically, Ace has had powers of a Marinomi for decades, but got it recently. Like he's had power for decades, or for a decade, but got the fruit itself recently. So, yeah. But, I mean, when Ace did fight Jinbei, he one-shot him. That's kind of it. But, basically, Ace thinks that he's too weak to see his brother. And we're going to go over Luffy's bounty, because I haven't gone over that yet. Smoker had told the government how strong Luffy actually is, and how he easily beat them. And how he seems to have a devil fruit where he can make his whole crew stronger. And Garkran thought this was basically Luffy kind of evolving his devil fruit. So, with this, basically, Luffy's devil fruit, not devil fruit, but his devil fruit alone gave Luffy a bounty of, let's say, probably around 120 million in total, actually. So 120 million is Luffy's starting bounty. But then with him arresting Crocodile or subordinates arresting him, he is given a bounty of now currently 215 million. 150 million is Luffy's current bounty. His second bounty. And yeah. Now we'd have Luffy who would just leave with his crew and go encounter Smoker Dashigi's ship. Dashigi would go to attempt to cut the Mary in half. Zoro is able to hold up the tip of the sword, and the attack is stopped. He stares Dashigi in the eyes, saying, "Too slow and weak." Suddenly, a very swift jab is able to shove Dashigi right through her ship. Now with this, Smoker would attack Luffy, saying, "The power you gave him can probably beat you." But Luffy then says, "Unlikely." Smoker's power is immediately drained from his body. Luffy would say, "Don't forget, you're my subordinate now. I said that to you, and you still chose to accept my power. I can drain all your energy from you in an instant." So yeah. Now with this part's already over an hour long, so I'm ending this part here with basically the Jaya arc beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment, comment, part. Goodbye.